So we're straight into the next session. Hopefully the food coma doesn't set in before I finish. The next session here is pricing and discounts. And I have only myself to blame for the title, because I was one of the person that put together the session list, and I picked this title. But pricing and discounts demystified. So the two things I want to do is give you some details on how the pricing engine works, and then I want to show you and tell you about changes that are upcoming, and actually some that we've recently made since I gave this talk last year. And that's and so to do that, I'm gonna cover pricing for a little bit, then I'll cover discounts for a little bit, and then we'll spend some time on the recent and upcoming changes. And then related to some of the upcoming changes, I want to talk to you about the extensibility scenarios. In the technical side, they did some deep dive on this, but from the functional side, I want to validate some work we're doing. It turns out this is like the fourth year in a row that I've given this talk. I doing my homework to put together a new deck to make sure I didn't show the exact same thing as I showed last year. I went out, and so there's a really nice landing page. I suggest you go there. Last year was called Pricing and Discount Deep Dive, and I went through a lot of configuration and setup. If you haven't seen any of them in the past, I hope I don't leave you too far behind. But I'm not going to cover all the basics. I'm going to focus on kind of a little bit higher level. And I wasn't going to talk about this. This is just some direct links to the 2 previous years. Okay, so we have a price engine that is how we call it. It's a class library, set of binary, and we use it in all the clients. So it's in Dynamics 365 for operations. It's in Retail Server, and Modern POS, when it's operating in offline mode, uses it as well. The rest of the clients that you see and hear us talk about, they're all using Retail Server for this. So it's, and one of the things I want to show you is, one, where it is, but two, it's not 100% the same everywhere. So you notice in call center, slightly different color and different names. And that's because the security model to access data inside the 365 operations client is different than what Retail Server has. So it's kind of a shim or a proxy that replaces the CRT data layer. And I say that just because, at some point it's possible that if there's a problem, it would be in one of those bits so that you wouldn't see it everywhere. So with that kind of brief, this is what I'm talking about, the price engine. I'm going to spend some time on pricing. I haven't gone into this very deep in the past, so basically, whenever you add a product to a transaction, when you add a line, we calculate 3 prices for the product. We calculate the base price, a trade agreement price, and an adjusted price. It says what they are. So one is just the property on the product. The other is the main place that you set prices, and I'll cover that in a little more detail. And then the third is retail specific. That's the adjusted price. So the first 2 are available in a slightly different flavor outside of retail, and then the last one is just retail specific. These are, and I say here, determined by context, date, and so context is something I want to talk about for a second. in the past, I've called this the price group slide, but for retail, when you're setting your prices, right, you might set prices in a specific store, in a region. You might set prices for a particular group of people, for seniors or students. You might set prices, you might set discounts. Right now we're focusing on prices. And so all of those kind of retail concepts of channel, catalog, affiliation, which is a group of people, and loyalty, which is another group of people, are retail specific, and they use price groups, which are used on trade agreements to set prices. And they can also be used to set the retail price adjustments. There is a little bit more. The reason why I want you to look at this is because this is how I want you to think about it. I'm going to show you a little bit more, but it's some stuff that it's not really retail, right? So you can create trade agreements directly for customers, right? Trade agreement does a table group all model. But a trade agreements directly for a customer isn't really a retail scenario as much as it's a B2B scenario. And if you really want to do customer pricing, you can use affiliations to do it, and you get a lot more flexibility, right? So with direct customer pricing, you get one price group or direct trade agreements. If you use affiliations, you can put multiple affiliations on a customer, and so you can enable a customer to qualify for multiple groups of prices. So that's one of the reasons why. This is kind of what I want you to remember. Okay, so we calculate 3 different prices, but there's one price on the line when we're done. So I was going to walk through how we get there. So start off, the price engine gets the property on the product, and it starts from there. It might be 0. It might be a value. So that's easy. The second step is where all the fun happens. So for here, the retail context is important. So first we go out on your transaction. You have context. The transaction's happening in a channel. It may be from a catalog for a customer. You may have directly, in point of sale, put an affiliation or a loyalty card on the transaction. So that context gets you a list of price groups, and then those price groups return a list of sales price trade agreements, or none. So then, and I didn't talk much about it, but it was there in the diagram, is priority. So let me go back just for a second and look at that. So retail has a feature called pricing priority. You can set it on price groups. You can actually also set it directly on discounts. So that's why that doesn't show up here. What pricing priority does in our system is it allows you to manually order prices and discounts. So you can choose one group can take precedent over another. So with regional pricing and store pricing, you might want the store pricing to win over the regional pricing, regardless of higher or lower. If you don't use that mechanism, then our price engine always optimizes for lowest price for the customer, right? So we're always, yep. So when looking at multiple of the same thing, yes. So trade agreements. Let's go back to trade agreements. So we pull back a list of trade agreements, and say there's trade agreement for the channel and trade agreements for an affiliation. If one of those, and actually a channel can have more than one, right? So a channel, a store in New York has the Northeast price group and the New York price group. And if you want the store and the New York prices to win, and they're higher, right? That group has a higher priority than the other ones. And so what we do is we look at that list of trade agreements. They each have a priority on them. we start at the highest priority. And this is where pricing is a little bit different from discounts, if you heard me talk about discounts in the past. Because price, there's only one price. There's not a chance for compounding or anything. We will take the first priority, the highest one. We'll go, if there's more than one, they'll compete. We'll take the lowest. And we can match. One of the good things that we did on trade agreements was we allow for partial variant matching. So if you have iPhones in one 28 gig and 256, right, you can set the price on that for all the colors, right? You don't have to go and do each one individually. So we find that we'll pick one of those trade agreements, and then we're done. We don't look at any of the trade agreements at lower priorities. So that's kind of where the difference is from discounts. If you've heard me say that in the past, because discounts will then kind of keep going at lower priorities because there could be more items, and discounts are calculated across the whole transaction, where price is calculated one product at a time. Right? There's not overlapping product pricing. Okay, and we will for price we do this, and it's unfortunate that right now it's different, but in price we'll honor a more closely matched trade agreement over a looser one. And what that means is a variant price will be used before a master price. So the closest match on the product. In our retail price adjustments, we don't have that. It's a exact. We'll take the lowest, or in the price adjustment, it's the biggest price adjustment. Yes. Yep. So that product dimension does win out over price in general. That you need that. Well, you can use price group, but you can also then use that for that. My example of a particular variant has a higher price. Okay, a couple things I wanted. So the middle there is light gray. Sometimes odd, but I have fun testing these things out sometimes when I'm prepping for these. And so for 4 years I've been saying, use find next, right? We want to find the lowest price, and to find the lowest price, the trade agreements have to be marked for find next. Sometimes people don't use it, and things go strange, and so I decided, to kind of look a little bit more deeper into it. And I suggest for retail you use find next. So I saw inconsistent behavior when you had trade agreements with and without find next. If none of them have find next, there's a pattern that it follows, and it uses the first created one. So if I create a whole bunch and none of them say find next, it just uses the first one. If they all say find next, then it'll search and find the lowest. If some of them say find next and some of them don't say find next, it's inconclusive. Like, seriously. Sometimes it would take, it depended on were the find next created first or were the not find next created first, and was there anything then after that? So you can not use find next, but if you don't, I suggest you always don't. Stick with one pattern or the other. Okay, so we got a bunch of trade agreements. We started at the highest priority. We found one. So if we do find a trade agreement, we'll always use it over base price, higher or lower, right? So if my base price is 100, the trade agreement is 120, we'll use the trade agreement. So trade agreement always overrides base price when we're trying to get to the final price for the line. That's pretty straightforward. If there are no trade agreements, then what we do is we set the trade agreement price from the base price so that we do have a trade agreement price. We don't just skip it. So the only way then that 0 is where you're still at is if both product is 0 and there are no non-zero trade agreements. That was interesting too. A couple releases ago, they relaxed the trade agreement to allow you to save zeros. You can even post them. The system ignores them, so it won't consider 0 the lowest price trade agreement. It just ignores it. So then the last step is the retail price adjustments. So here we have a trade agreement price because we either found one or we set it equal to the base price. So we start with the trade agreement price, and then we go look for retail price adjustments. And we use that retail context again. So you get a big list of price groups. It'll find any retail price adjustments that apply. If there are more than one that applies, we will use the retail concurrency model. But we don't use, but we don't use multiple priorities. We'll use the priority model. We'll start at the highest priority. And if we find something, then we'll apply it and we're done. If we find multiple things at the highest priority, then they compete using our concurrency model. So multiple exclusives will compete. We'll find the biggest one and apply that one and ignore any best price or compound. If multiple best price or compound are found, then we'll put all the compounds together, and the result competes against any best price. And again, the largest one is winning here because we're always trying to get the lowest price for the customer. Yep, and then I left the copy paste. I left the diamond in there from a previous diagram, but it just after you get it, you're done. So, a couple things. Adjusted price is always less than the trade agreement price. So, if, and I think we've since been able to block this mostly in the UI, but if the calculated adjustment price is higher than the trade agreement price, because you got a negative in there somehow, or it was a category, there's a couple odd ways you can get there. We won't use it. So if the calculated adjustment price is larger than the trade agreement price, then we'll just use the trade agreement price. So you can't use, I guess the key there is, you can't use retail price adjustments to raise the price. We've talked about this for a while, myself and the engineers work on it, of considering introducing a retail price modeled after price adjustments so that you can do category-based pricing, because that's something you can't do in trade agreements. Kind of as a show of hands, we wouldn't just make adjustments to it. It would create a new thing called retail price. It would look and feel just like a price adjustment, but it would have logic like trade agreement. Do you think your customers would use that if that was there? If there was a retail price? Can I just show of hands that says, yeah, you think you would? Yeah. Yep. Yeah, so it allows you to do the category pricing. Now, not all industries can use a category pricing, but some can, like grocery, right? The single can soda, they're all up price, right? So you can create your prices with a lot less records, because trade agreements is at least one for every product, master product.
So if you consider that, what about the change of price history? Is it something that is in consideration? Because that's a big pain point in
So the question was, what would we do about price history if we introduce that? And because it's a pain with discounts. So I think we're aware of that. I'm aware of that pain with the discounts. And yeah, I'll take that into consideration definitely. I want to have it for discounts as well, right? Because we have there's return scenarios we can't do because we don't have price history, discount history. So yeah, if we introduced a new thing like that, history would definitely be part of it. So. Okay, so the question I think was a or a statement is the ask is to support attribute-based pricing as well. Okay. So the loose product dimension we support for pricing. Yeah, we can talk about it after. And I don't have a piece of paper and pencil, so there's an email address at the end for feedback. So please send it there because I want to hear these things. Pricing is one of the areas that we've kind of continued to improve upon. Actually, all the areas. So, but I focus on the pricing. So, yeah. Please send in your feedback for each of those individual ones. So then the final price is set to the adjusted price, right? So the price that's used in POS or call center is that adjusted price value. So if there was no price adjustments, we do the same thing again where the third price, the adjusted price is set equal to the trade agreement price. And I call this out because sometimes when people are doing customizations and such, they don't realize that data is there from the calculation. So that was kind of my brief overview of how we get to price with retail. I'm going to move now into discounts for a little bit. And again, just an overview on the discounts. Two things I want to cover. One is a revisit of how discounts are applied to transactions. So this is a look at the priority and the concurrency model. And then I want to try to answer the question that I hear frequently is in the retail parameters, there's this setting called overlapping discount handling, and it's got a lot of text with it, and what is that? And so I want to try to address that in this as well. So this is just a summary view. I hope I have much more detailed views. I hope to get them published to the wiki soon. So for a single priority, if you don't look at the retail priority feature I talked about, there's an ordering that we do discounts. We do non-threshold discounts and then threshold discounts to start with. So, and then inside each of those, as we did with price, we do exclusive first, and exclusive excludes any best price or compound consideration. And then we do best price and compound. And something that not everybody realizes is best price and compound actually do compete for best price. So it's not that it's a 3-level ordering, exclusive, best price, compound. It's exclusive and best price compound. right? So one compound and one best price will compete for best price. Two compounds and a best price the two compounds will combine and compete with the best price. And so this is the flow. So if you have one item on the transaction and you get an exclusive discount as you go through here, you're done. If you get a best price, at the point at which you get a best price, you're also done. So, and that's another current behavior of our system that I get some feedback on, and I'd give me more if you have it. So if you have a best price simple discount, one item, and it applies that best price simple discount, that will exclude consideration of any threshold discounts. So the non-threshold discounts are getting priority over the threshold discounts. And that's true, you'll see in the next slide, even actually when we start adding priority in. So a slightly different view of that is the non-threshold is the first box and the threshold is the second box. Here we have multiple priorities. So we loop through the priorities for all the non-thresholds first, finding and applying what we can. And then we move on to the threshold. There's one, and then two, for the most part, don't interact. There's one scenario that we do support them interacting, and that is a compound threshold will apply to compound non-thresholds even at different priorities. So if you have that, and that's that, additional 10% off if you spend 100. So you can have that at the end, and it'll still apply to the other things. Yeah, I'm going to... Right. So the first box is non-threshold. It's a simple discount, quantity discount, and mix and match. So we're we're doing all of these first, and we're looping through, right? So if I have one item and I have any non-threshold discount, well, if I have an exclusive or best price discount, it gets applied to that item. When we come down to threshold, because that item has an exclusive or best price discount, we're done. We won't apply any threshold discounts. Does that make sense? The one exception that I talked about, so there's a one item, you loop through the top, you get one compound discount, then you come down to the thresholds. If you had a compound threshold, we will apply it. That's kind of the only time that threshold interacts with the non-threshold. For some history, a big reason why we separated those is because thresholds, by their nature, tend to operate on the entire basket, and having those discounts compete with the non-threshold was really processing intensive. And so in order to avoid that, we separated them out. Here's a slightly more detailed view, which I knew you couldn't read in the session. I'll just point out the arrows and what they mean. In the last year, or I think it was in last year's session. So just about a year ago, we introduced mix and match, least expensive, that favors the retailer. So earlier I said we're always looking for the lowest price. We're always looking for the highest discount, right? We're always looking for the best deal for the customer. And there's actually an alternate way to apply mix and match that we had to introduce. And it's not for, well, actually it is for a single mix and match, but it's when there's extra items for the mix and match, or when there's multiple instances of the mix and match. And the difference there is the old way that we had to do it, the favor customer, we'll combine the items to give the customer the best deal. The favor retailer will combine the items to give the retailer, so to give the customer the worst deal, to give the retailer the most savings, right? So a 20-15-5, if you have 3 items, 20-15-5, buy one, get one free, right? Favor customer, you'll get the $15 one free. Favor retailer, you get the $5 one free. And the reason why they're in separate boxes is because that optimization is in the opposite direction of the rest of the price engine. So you can't do them together because they're going in different directions. And that, I think that's kind of it for flow. Before I move on to the next thing, does anyone have any questions around discount flow? Some people have been in my talks before. The question was, where do manufacturers' coupons fit into that model? They generally don't, because, one, a lot of times retailers consider manufacturers' coupons a payment method, not a discount, because they can mail those to the manufacturer and get paid for them. So that's part of it. We're improving coupons, as you'll see later on in the talk. But typically, manufacturers, if you're going to use discounts for manufacturers' coupons, the simple discount is the one that's most common, because it's just an amount or percent off. It's usually just an amount. So you'd use just our simple discount, and so it would fit in with the non-threshold discounts. Can you repeat it one more time? It was about discount trade agreements. Yeah, I think, yeah. Z, yeah. So the question was about discount trade agreements. I didn't talk about it much because we dissuade using them. Complicates the system. We have considered a couple of times to remove support for them, but we do support them still. And so you would get that with a couple caveats. So simple retail discounts will compete with a trade agreement discount, and you'll get the best. But multi-item retail discounts, because you can't define multi-item trade discounts, trump them, because we figure this is a retail scenario that's more complicated than what discount trade agreements support. So the statement was, if you do have B2B and B2C, you sometimes still need to use the discount trade agreements, and then you have a problem with the two working together. Yeah. So send me your scenario. One of the things I can try to do is see if you can use the retail configuration to meet your scenario, and if not, then I could still use it to consider in the future. Okay, so on to overlapping discount handling. Oh. True. So the statement concern was if you are using the discount trade agreements, then and you aren't using call center in the back office, then when you okay. Right. Yeah. Yeah. So okay. So then the concern there, the issue is they're not using call center in the back office. So the only way to do discounts is trade agreements. But then that has a hard time working with pause. Yeah. Use call center. Yeah. So I think for that one, send me the why they can't use call center, right? And we can look at that. Right? We don't want to. The first picture I showed was it's one price engine used everywhere, right? So we want a consistent set of logic everywhere. And so it is true if you use the back office client without call center turned on, then you get a different pricing logic and discounting logic. Okay. So the feedback there is, and you know, I guess I don't hear the simple ones. So I hear every now and again the retailers who are also distributors or manufacturers, having the two businesses work together nice is a challenge because those sales orders are, the comment here was the sales orders are 1,700 lines or more, and the price engine isn't performing well enough to use it. Okay, so if when you come into a specific issue with performance or something like that, log the case. They typically performance will make it to the product team most often if it's not solved quickly. Yeah. 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 So that it's the comment there is the retail pricing is a basket pricing, right? So we tend to, because of mix and match and quantity, recalculate the whole basket, which is hard for distribution, manufacturing, if they're adding that many lines to an order. Yeah, so I'm happy to work on our perf and consider, are there ways that we can, are there settings or something that we can do to improve it? Okay, so that I don't run out of time completely. So all of these things are things you might want when something goes wrong, right? So our configuration and setup allows somebody to kind of shoot themselves in the foot, right? We let you set up 10, 15 discounts on a single item. We let you set up overlapping competing discounts. One would be to block them, you doing that. But I know, we've had customers that you say the scenario is, I have headquarter people that do discounts, I have store people that do discounts, They don't talk to each other. That's what I want. And so it then, kind of becomes a challenge. So we let you set up your discounts with very little restriction. In the Dynamics 365 for Operations client, we've added some visibility into that. So for any one discount, you can view the overlapping discounts. There's now an action that says view overlapping discounts, and then you can see the products that they're overlapping on. So we've given you that visibility now if you start defining things that are overlapping. But you still, it could be there. And since our engine is trying to find a best price, when you get into mix and match and category quantity discounts, the mathematical permutations that are needed to find it can explode. And so what we did was we built a escape hatch into the engine. So if it's looking for a price and it kind of is looking for too long, it will save the result that's at right now. And one of the things that we find is that result is usually, almost always, the best result, even though we didn't finish. So we get to the good result fast, but there's still a lot more that we have to check to be guaranteed. And then we switch modes. And sometimes we call it fast mode. We called it marginal value because it's based off the kind of economic concept of what's the marginal value of some additional thing. And so what we do is I'm just going to draw real quick here. So if you have two competing discounts, we take the stuff that they're competing on, and we figure out what's the value if I include those things with this discount, what's the value to the discount, right? So I include the one extra thing, I get another $1 off. The marginal value of that to the discount is $1. If I include it with the other one, then that discount's worth 50 cents more. The marginal value to that discount's 50 cents. Then we use that to rank the discounts for using the shared items, and then we apply the discounts from highest to lowest rank. It's a bulk operation, so it can't mathematically guarantee best price, but we see it work really well. And you'll see a little bit later on is we actually did a lot of perf work, and so we pushed the threshold where you hit this got pushed out a lot in the last year. So that's what that setting is. I didn't actually I have a screenshot in a bit so we can talk about the different options. The options are fastest calculation, medium calculation, wait a little bit longer, and then the last option is absolute best price, which is a performance risk, because if you set up the competing discounts and you say absolute best price, then we'll look at every possible combination. And when one customer hit this, it would take a minute to add the 17th item to the cart because they just had 5 discounts on every item in the cart.
What is the best price what it was before you ran into that charge?
Yep. But actually, as you'll see in a second, actually it's the last one on this slide, our algorithm is much, much faster now. Yep. So a year ago or more, our competition evaluation algorithm was meh. It wasn't that fast, right? So in the last year, what we did was we rewrote that using dynamic programming. So engineer, I think, did some amazing things there. And so that part of the discount flow which is really just the competing part, was improved a couple factors. I think the average time, I didn't write the number in the sessions, but it was a couple 100% faster using the new method. So, a couple things there is you'll if you are evaluating competing discounts, it'll be longer to get there. So you're much more likely to find the best price and finish. Actually, you're much more likely to finish before you need to switch to the fast mode. Some other recent changes. So we recently, in the first two are options in retail parameters. So we now allow discounts on price overrides. So in the past, if price override was a final number on a line, it removed any discounts calculated or manual on the line. So we now have a setting that says allow discount calculation to occur on top of price override. And then manual discounts in pause. We now allow you to choose a manual discount, line or total, in POS will replace a system calculated discount or compound on it. And you can choose either behavior that you want. No, it's a setting. It's a company-wide setting, and then it follows it. It's in pause. I'm not sure on call center. I'll have to follow back. So the question there was, is the first setting apply to call center and POS?
With all of this discount allowing cost volume to cost factors, but not allowing you to sell below the product.
Yeah. So the question there is, have we put any thought into in our calculation logic of having logic based on cost? We don't have any logic today based on cost. It's. I think it's something we've thought about. I think we're going to continue. I don't have a work item in the immediate future to do that, but thanks.
Without that parameter, we are unable to change the discount.
Okay. So I guess there's the comment there was there is maybe a bad behavior in the call center around manual discounts on top of price overrides. Another item that we did there is the last one on performance was a checkout cache. So today, or before this, you scan your 10th item. We go get all of the possible discounts, and we would get them all each time. So if you enable this feature now, what we'll do is, as you scan, we'll only get the new ones needed for the new item. We'll keep hold of the ones that you have. So it's improving the performance in the data level. Oh, yeah. Sorry about that. Yeah. I just added this one in, I think in the last hour. It's funny. Somebody thought we supported price unit because there was one scenario that worked. There was 5 that didn't, but the one scenario worked, in R2, and we broke it in R3. And so they, it was, we have to fix this, was, the message we got. It's not, we didn't really, and I necessarily consider it a mainline retail. Now I know it is some, so I know hardware, bulk buying type scenarios. So we fixed the one that we broke, and we fixed the other ones as well. So now you can use price unit. We don't, in POS, we don't support it exactly the same way as the back office client. So the back office client supports it by keeping 2 fields on the line. We calculate the effective price using the 2 fields and store that. But we allowed for the increased precision that you'll get by using it.
What is price unit?
Yep. So sorry, the question is, what is price unit? So on product, there's yeah. On product, there's a price, right? And there's a right next to it. You often ignored is a field called price unit. It defaults to 1, and basically it's saying the price that you set is for selling that many, right? So if you set $10 price for a price unit of 5, the real per unit is 2, right? So.
People said enough like 100. So the price for 100 is $10. It's not a 1.
Yeah, the retail scenarios that I recognize as valid are, hardware, right? You buy in large weight, or you buy in large, you buy nuts and bolts in weight, and then you sell them. So. Okay. So call center coupons. They were negative header charges on order. Discounts had discount code. It was basically a number that was an alias for the discount that you could require to be input. Wasn't necessarily a coupon, it was a discount code. What we're doing is we're putting the 2 together. So where POS still doesn't support charges very well, so we're replacing the negative charges on a coupon with discount. We're still leaving we're still leaving a lot of the restriction functionality on the coupon. So limited use. So once customer required, once per customer, those properties are still there. But now the coupon points to a discount. So we're making those 2 work together. It's kind of coming out in phases. So the first part's done, and it'll be out in the next update. And that is basically the replacement of the charges with a discount. 2 critical things that are from coupon that are missing that are coming in the second part are the per transaction limit and exclude lines. So something you could do on coupon was you could say this coupon applies to jeans except for this product. That's the exclude, similar to assortments. So we're going to bring that in, and the per transaction limit, we're going to put that directly on discount, and coupon will use it through discount. So in that one is, I define a $1 off a product or $5 off. I really only want to apply that once to the transaction. Our discounts don't do that today, so we apply it per quantity that qualify. So we're adding that, which people have been asking for in discounts anyway. So discounts will have it, and the coupons can use it through discount. Now that's the in a transaction limit. The number of times a coupon is used limit is in coupon. It's still there. So the question was, are we going to include have the include exclude on the discounts? Yes. Yep. Um, so the question was, they're reusing coupons? No, they're. Okay. Um, so the question is concerned about performance with lots of coupons and lots of discounts. Actually, if the coupon code is required, it can help because it's one of the first filters to eliminate all of the other discount noise, right? So, well, it eliminates them from consideration. Yeah. Yep. So I think using coupon codes won't make that worse than if they weren't using coupon codes. And I gotta not lose track of time completely. Discount concurrency control options. So I'm sure you've heard the sealing of the retail components. So that has changed the extensibility model. Our old extensibility model was well, I'll cover it more in detail later, but the short of it is we're going to introduce a new way to deal with concurrency and priority. And by introducing this, and here's just a quick screenshot. So the new upcoming and recent options, we try to keep parity in all of the versions. So we're one of the most aggressive kind of teams to backport to 2012 because we just want that. We're trying to keep that one code base for Price Engine and forward. So of the stuff that I talked about, some of them are out there on 2012 as hotfixes. The three are the transaction cache, the price override, and the discount compounding, manual discount compounding. I know two of those are right now in the process of being forward ported to Dynamics 365, but they're not there today. This site over here is 365, and they're not there yet. So we're a customer needed it, they wanted it now, so we did it in 2012, and now we're bringing it forward. On request, not on request, it's not. If there's a strong enough need, we will backport some of these things as well. If there's a strong enough need and it kind of makes sense for the price engine. We've done that with a couple of options. Okay, so let me show some coupons for a minute. Okay, this is the coupon forms from the call center coupons. We're using that, right? But things have been removed, added, moved around. Previously, customer and product, of course, hung directly off coupon. What we did is we moved those. We removed those from coupon because a coupon now points to a discount. We use the product definition from the discount lines and the customer association through affiliations. So if you want customer-specific coupons, the discount needs to have price groups related to customers through affiliations or loyalty. Some people have confused looks on their faces. So those two things. So customer and product now go down to the discount, and they come off of coupon. The coupon code that you have to use sticks with coupon, and we're enabling multiple codes for a coupon now. So that's what the lines are.
Go back to what I think I heard you say. I have to have an affiliation.
Nope. I can have a coupon without affiliations.
Okay.
If I want the coupon to be customer restricted or customer limited, then yes, I have to have the discount related to customers through an affiliation or loyalty.
Okay.
So through a price group. Yeah, you need to. So in order for a discount to be customer specific, you put what's. Oh yeah, okay. So the question there was how to associate price groups to customers. Discounting doesn't use price group directly on customer. Retail discounts only use price groups through affiliations and loyalty. And that's true in the core product, right? They have 4 different group fields, one for each type of discount and one for price. So it's not like we have less functionality from as core. We just do it differently. So this coupon here, there's no restriction on it. So this is similar to the old discount codes. I can enter it. I need to enter it to get the discount. And it's unrestricted. I can use the coupon as many times as I want. This coupon I'm setting up with, so customer required. So you can say you need to have a customer on the transaction in order to qualify for this coupon. When I did that, actually, and then usage limit of 1, that means each customer can only use this coupon once, similar to what was there in call center before. And the customers that can use it are verified through the discount. And we took the same pattern that was there for coupon before. We don't pre-create all of the customer coupon relationships. You define the relationship between the customer and the coupon, and then when they use it, we record usage. And then if it is limited, when it's used again, each time it's used, we see if it's been used already or not. Yes. So the question was, are we checking usage limits for coupons through the real-time service? For company and customer-specific usage limits, yes. For channel usage limits, no, we're doing it in the channel. Yeah, so the question is, have we considered generating or coupon based on current activity? Yes, I think about that one. I also own customer loyalty, and that's a primary loyalty scenario. We don't have it today, because honestly, we didn't really have good coupon codes. Now that we have much better coupon codes, we can start thinking about that one. Okay, so let's just look at this one for a second. Discount, yeah, that's unfortunate. You can't. So, like I said, fresh, new. I can't click through on that discount. But here, the pricing and discount workspace. Here's that discount. It's actually one of the demo data ones. It's for category all, but it requires the code. So now in order to get this discount, I have to provide the coupon code for it. So the question was, will the coupon function go back n-1? So we don't have any plans to backport this to 2012. We do have plans to allow you to continue to use your 2012 and call center coupons in 2012 with an updated. Well, actually, no, never mind. You just updated your back office, so that particular one doesn't qualify for n-1. I wanted to look up the coupon code. Actually, well, here, try it here. So we introduced two new operations in POS, add coupon and remove coupon. Now there is, I didn't say it, there is a barcode. So scan should still work for coupon, will still work. But you can also enter the code. And can you repeat the question again? So the question is about generating coupon codes. Today it's manual. It doesn't. You can't say generate 100. But give us that. We want to get it out there and have you guys use it and suggest how to improve it. So I know that there are scenarios there where you want the coupon to truly be one-time use. So of course you need more than one of them. You're going to need however many you're going to send out to people. Okay. Here we go. Let's say. So we're using the same type of dialogue now that we use for other types of things, gift card, loyalty card. I had a feeling that wasn't going to work. I'm going to show you in the call center, in the price simulator. All of my data got reset just before, and I had to go reset up my numbers. Actually, let me try one other thing. Nope. Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to show you in the price simulator. So the price simulator actually is nice for people setting up the merchandising anyway. They can come in here, they can have a transaction in Houston, a transaction in Atlanta, wherever they want. And on those transactions, you can put customers, you can put other types of things, but you can choose a coupon code. Yep. Yes, it's stored on the discount line. So it's stored with a discount line. For usage limits, it's actually also stored in a limits table that's checked against. So if you have a customer-specific coupon with a usage limit of 1, when customer A uses it, right, we record A and the coupon code so that the next time they come along, they can't use it again. So the question there was, have we thought about having functionality that shows possible coupons, possible discounts. Yeah, we have. It hasn't made it above the line at this point, but it's a scenario that we hear in e-commerce and in point of sale. It's like, if you buy one more, you get a discount, right?
Yeah,
So.
but also in more multi-price where of course coupon and stuff like that, the best price, when I come down and myself, I didn't see that coupon for about with stuff.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I guess send it to me. So there's a discount here. I have a feeling that I qualify for my discount in another way other than the discount code. Yeah, I don't want to sit here and enter a code and stuff. I wanted to show you that. I also want to show you the other upcoming change from sealing is discount concurrency control. So in my talk last year, and I've mentioned it a couple times here, yes, and that's actually why mine's not working, because just before the demo, I lost my barcode mask and my barcode and all that stuff. So we'll generate the barcode number. We didn't really have functionality to generate an image file. Yeah. Okay. So why don't you show me that? We are definitely still generating the barcode. So the coupon code will generate the barcode using the barcode mask. It's on coupon now, so connect with me after and see. Okay. So the question was, are we still going to support the barcode and barcode mask? And we are. Okay. So concurrency control. So. This kind of goes hand in hand with a couple slides at the end, but this is introduced. We're sealing the price engine, sealing CRT, and so, but we still know there are extensibility scenarios that people want to change things. We're doing the work to support some of the scenarios, and then we're improving the product to try to increase the coverage so that you need less scenarios, you need to customize less. So what these two options do is they change the compounding and priority interactions. And I'll have, as it goes out, I think it's we'll put a lot more documentation on the wiki because it's kind of more than I can cover here, but I'll summarize it. So there is how it works today, which I explained. It's priority. If you find it in priority, you use it, and then you're done. You ignore all the lower priorities. And then if there's a compound in the priority, we'll put them together. That's the old model that we do. The new model that we introduced is everything in a priority is best price, standalone best price. So best price and two compounds, all three in one priority would be considered best price, and they individually compete. Then whatever wins, best price or compound, would always get compounded against whatever wins in the next priority. So we're changing it around from priority blocking everything lower to priority always compounding below. It's a discount pools method, and I'll I'll definitely make sure I have documentation out there with examples to show how that works. And then, the other one, compounding original price. This is the short summary of this is it's additive compounding instead of mathematical compounding, right? So 2 10% discounts on 100 is actually 10 and 10 for the new option instead of 10 and 9 for mathematical compounding. Okay, so that priority was the compound model was introduced to support the third extensibility scenario here. So part of this is I wanted to show you this and validate that these are the scenarios that we should be thinking about for extensibility. If you know of more, I want you to tell us about them. So we considered there's a small modification you want to do. Our example one is I want to move the date effectivity from the discount header to the discount line. It's just a small change to our existing discount types. The second one is I want to create a new discount type, right? So I want to, one that I know now that someone's asked is after a threshold is reached, I want to give a discount on something else. So today, our threshold discounts, the qualify and discount are bound together on the line in the product category. A new thing would be I want to use anything to qualify, and when I do, I get this other thing for a discount. So that's a new discount type. And then the last one is flow logic. And this is exactly what kind of I talked about earlier on, is that how priority and concurrency and work together. Sometimes people want to change that. And so we are putting the APIs in place to support the first two, and we're giving you the alternate model to support the last one. We went and looked at, putting that into the extensibility model, but it quickly got really messy and really complicated. And so we felt that a better way to support it would be to give you starting with two models that you need, and then as people use it and we hear feedback scenarios, we could add models in the future if we need to. So first, do these seem like the right scenarios? Are there other scenarios that we're missing for discounts? Okay, so anyway, feedback. If you think of them, you don't have to come up with it on the spot. So that's just the slide for says what we did, right? So yeah, the new model, you have less control, but it'll support continuous update, right? In the past, you had to code merge your customization with the hotfix every time we released a binary hotfix. A lot of work. So I think that's it. Questions? Any additional questions? You asked me that yesterday. So the question is, do we plan to extend threshold to offer free discounts? So it's not on the roadmap right now. Submit it to me, and I'll make sure it gets under consideration that people can say, yeah, we need this one or not. But the difference, the difference from what we have now to that is if the free product is in a different category. Because, well, actually, no, if it's specific, right? So if you buy $100 in shoes, you get this specific pair of shoes. Yeah. So yeah, it's not in the short list right now. I've heard that. That's why I used it as my example for new discount type. The question there was, do we plan to prompt in the POS as they get close to a threshold? I put that in the same bucket of, what are the potential discounts that this transaction customer could get. We're aware of that scenario. We don't have a plan right now to surface that. Let me see if I heard a question. So the qualifying criteria is a multiple of what the product's sold in. Yeah. I for now. So I don't have any plans right now to factor unit of measure in. Right. It's a filter today. So unit of measure is on the line. We use that to discriminate which discount lines are for which products. Yeah. So I don't have any plans at this time. I think that one's actually been submitted recently. I think I heard it. Yeah. Okay. Any other question?
Kind of two things within this one. One is that being able to define the limit by either quantity or amount. And secondly, have a period for it, say, to be reset by day, week, month, year, whatever.
So the question is where discounts are missing limit.
So the limit can be defined either by amount or quantity. By amount instead of, and then have a period so it's kind of reset. It's the day you can buy for that. Every day you can come in and buy for whatever you do before. Every year it's reset.
Okay. So the request there is for discounts to be able to work against an amount limit that is some multiple of the discount. Yeah? Right, it's a total amount. Any one discount is... Right.
You get 10% off
Yep.
or up to $50.
Yep. Okay. We don't have plans for that one right now. Okay. Part of the reason why I'm repeating them well is they're recording this, so you guys can hear it and I can record what you guys are asking for. Question in the back? Yep. So the question was, show price in point of sale prior to putting it on a transaction, isn't taking into consideration all the discounts. Yeah, we've discussed that. I know we have the APIs to support it. I guess what you can log an issue for it, and we'll consider it. I know we've recently, it's supported some places. So, log that issue. And that would only support simple discounts, right? Mix and match, and right, we won't do that. But for quantity one discount, we should be able to support that. And so, you guys have been here for a long time. The next session is going to be scheduled to start soon, and you might want to break. So, I'm available for the rest of the afternoon. But I think I'm going to cut it off so you guys can have a little bit of a break before the next session starts. And I think the next session was scheduled to start in like 3 minutes, so it'll probably be 5 to 10.